The Dare County Board of Elections meeting of Tuesday, July 28th will come to order. This meeting is being live streamed and there'll be no public comments. The first item of business today is setting the early voting hours for the November 3rd, for the November 3rd election. The state there's been an emergency finding by Karen Bell, the director of the State Board of Elections. And because of COVID, they want the polls open as much as possible to reduce the amount of people at the polls at one time. To do this, they have now mandated that we have 10 hours of voting time, both of the first 2 weekends of the early voting period. Those 10 hours can be all on one day, like all on Saturday or all on Sunday, or they can be split between the 2 days. That'll be in addition to the early voting on the Saturday before election, which is pretty traditional. So is there any discussion on this or?
I don't remember which election, but an election we had, I guess it was last year, in which we had Sunday voting.
Mm-hmm.
The response was relatively low. Having said that, given that we have to have 7 hours on Saturdays, on the 2 Saturdays, it's
No, we have to have 10 hours total on those 2 weekends.
No, but I'm saying we have to have 7 hours on the 2 Saturdays. Therefore, it leaves us with how we are going to allocate at least 3 other hours on both weekends.
No, I think you've misunderstood that.
It's 10 hours. We're required to have 10 hours, either all day on Saturday, 10, break it up Saturday and Sunday, but it's not 7, it's 10 hours, 10 additional hours on both of those weekends.
You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. We're required to be open 8 to 3. That's 7 hours.
But that's the one right before the election. That one stands alone. That's there anyway. Okay. These 10 hours are just for the 2 weekends preceding that.
They're within that period.
Got it. My comment is sort of still the same. That it seems to me that we ought to have at least 10 hours on the previous Saturday.
I agree.
And maybe, since we got 3 other hours, we have to have voting on each weekend, maybe 3 hours on Sunday as opposed to having 10 hours all on Saturday.
So split it 7 and 3.
Yeah. I mean, that's my thinking. I'm not, that's not in concrete, but that's my thinking.
I don't know what our poll workers would think
7 on
about
Saturday and 3 on
tying up
Sunday.
every single day of the week. I know if it was me, I'd rather have just one day off a week. If
I think they'll
could.
change though, Jim. I don't think they're gonna be the same poll workers working the same hours.
Well,
You think we'll have that many?
I've got 4 that I recommended that should be.
we only have like 65 more to find.
Oh.
But they all count, so just keep pushing them
But it's
in.
the same difference though. I mean, poll workers, some are not gonna work but so many hours. They don't wanna work so many hours. But that's not in concrete. That's just my thinking as we're sitting here trying to decide what to do.
Do we have to finalize that today?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking from a communication standpoint, the more consistent we can be, like 5 and 5, will be easier for people to absorb. For 7 on Saturday and 3 on Sunday, it's already a labyrinth of facts that you have to know.
So we have 2 Saturdays before the election to do 10 hours,
Right.
2 weekends.
2 weekends.
You're right, 5 and 5, because Saturday afternoon, people are not gonna go out and vote. So if you do it like from 8 until 1, they're more apt to come out and vote than if you do it in Saturday afternoon.
Michelle, do you know offhand what the turnout was like on the Saturday before that? What times during the day was the heaviest?
No,
turnout?
it was really light,
was-
but we had absolutely no promotion. People, I stayed in Buxton most of that day just to see what would happen. And almost everybody who walked in there said they were really surprised that they were there. They just happened to drive by and didn't know that they could vote on Sunday. So I think it's going to be lighter than Saturday, no matter what we do.
My
But
question was Saturday, but
It was-
I know on Sunday it was very light.
Saturday's our highest per hour day of voting.
The advertisement was for the weekend hours, just the same as it was for the weekday hours.
Yeah, but we didn't, Sunday was a whole different ballgame. We'd never
But
had
it was
Sunday.
advertised when the other hours were advertised.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we didn't push. We didn't have additional promotion. And that was the first time Sunday had ever been offered here. So I think if we do concentrate on that and keep that in mind, I think that we can up that sum. But Saturday is, I think, going to be the go-to day for all of them.
Yeah, I don't, just personally, I don't want us to cut back on Saturday, hours on Saturday. That's a heavy voting day and I don't
Well,
understand.
we voted on Saturday.
Yeah,
Yes, we've had Saturday before.
Yeah.
there was a suggestion that we make it 5 and 5, and I'm saying I'd rather keep it 7 hours on Saturday. I don't want to cut back the hours on Saturday.
I don't know how many, I can't remember how many hours. It wasn't 7 that we did. Was it 4 maybe?
I believe it was 4.
Yeah. Okay, Judy,
What?
what are your druthers?
But,
I like
okay,
5
let
and
me
5.
just, I'm sorry.
I
Let me
will
just
make a
clarify.
motion.
I mean, we have no option. We have to have it 8 to 3 on
That's
the
on the
last Saturday.
That's,
last
I'm-
Saturday.
So I, that's the last, so my suggestion, we keep it the same for the other Saturday. too.
So then you would put 3 hours on Sunday?
3 hours on Sunday. I mean, that's my thought.
Are you moving that or?
No, I want us all to discuss it and take everybody's ideas in mind. I just don't see cutting back on what was the heaviest voting day, which was the Saturday.
I just don't remember what we did on that other Saturday that we offered a couple of cycles ago. I don't think it was very heavy, but again, people weren't used to it. And I think it was a primary, so it's hard to
What
judge
hours do
that.
you suggest for Sunday for these 3 hours?
In the afternoon after church, maybe 1 to
1 to 4.
I'm gonna watch football, so I'm not coming.
So my suggestion, I'm shaping it up. My suggestion would be 8 to 3 on each of the 2 Saturdays and 1 to 4 on each of the 2 Sundays.
I thought we only needed 10 hours total for 2 Saturdays.
Right.
No,
Total-
2 weekends.
Total, 2 weekends.
Not 10 hours each weekend, 10 hours total.
No,
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 10 hours on that weekend.
Oh, 10 hours per weekend.
Yes.
Okay. I have no idea what Sunday did, so I have no idea,
Well, Saturday and Sunday.
Sunday was low.
Sunday was low. Saturday was low too. When
They were
the
both
Saturday
low.
right before the election is really heavy.
Yeah.
But when we tried Saturdays earlier than that in the cycle, I don't think we had a great deal then either.
No.
No.
So offering Saturdays the 2 weeks before election really doesn't matter what time we put out. As long as we advertise them, that's the best we can do, because we have no history.
Right.
So arbitrarily pick some time and let's vote on it and move forward.
I would
I still
move
think
that,
5 and 5.
I would move that we, that the hours for the weekends preceding the election for early voting be 7 hours from 8 to 3 on each of the Saturdays and 1 to 4 on each of the Sundays.
Do I hear a second?
No, Judy had some discussion, so.
No, I'm just saying that, again, from a communications point of view, and the fact that we've had Sunday voting once and it was not really super well advertised, that I think we would give more people a greater chance of voting if we split it 5 and 5. And also the consistency is easier to communicate.
Well, I look at it from a poll worker thing, and to get somebody to work 5 hours on a weekend, I think it's going to be easier than to get someone to work 7, because when you put the setup time and everything, that's going to shoot their whole day. I kind of tend
We
to
have a
5 to 5
motion on
too.
the floor.
There's a motion.
Yeah, we're having discussion.
No. See if there's a second before we get to the discussion.
I'll second it.
Okay,
Been moved and properly second.
okay. And so now we can have discussion.
Yeah.
I think consistency, but I think this is going to be a tough one to get poll workers to work. We're going to be stretching them about as far as we can. And I think we've got to look at it from that way too. And we also have to look at it from the staff viewpoint. Somebody's going to have to work each of those days. And so,
That's 17 days.
pardon?
That's 17 days.
That's 17 days. It's going to be a killer.
And it's already 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. weekdays. That's mandated. So that means someone's here before 7:30, someone's here after 8.
So then we're suggesting easier on the poll workers, 5 and 5? Is
Yes.
that what the
I
reason
think,
was?
I think it'll be easier to schedule.
All right, so we have to vote on the first one. And then we can make a second motion on the second one. Is that how it would work?
Hey, you're my guru. You're telling me.
Mhm.
You're right.
That's what Robert would say.
Okay, all in favor of 7 and 3
For the 2 Saturdays,
for for 2 weekends.
for the 2 Saturdays, and 1 to 4 for the 2 Saturdays. That's my motion.
Okay,
That's been seconded.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No.
Uh,
Okay. Do I hear another motion?
I make a motion that they're 5 and 5, just so that we can get people covered, available for the audience as well as voters, as well as for our poll workers. The 5 hours are gonna put the poll workers at working 7 hours that day at least. 7 hours makes them working 9 hours at least. And they're already working 10 hours for 5 days at least. That was my only concern. We have a personnel problem right now. So if we can ease it up, I think we would have less feedback from them. I think we would probably get somebody to work Saturday or Sunday, as opposed to not want to work Saturday and take a shorter Sunday. That's the only reason I'd say 5 to 5. And we don't have any history either way of comparing it.
Second,
Do I hear a second?
I seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
No. Nay.
Okay. So it's going, did you get that, Michelle? Okay.
3 ayes, 2 nays. So it has to be unanimous. We have to have a unanimous plan to submit to the state.
That's right. If it's not unanimous, we have to go to a hearing again.
Oh, mercy.
Do y'all want to submit an alternate plan?
7:30. I'm just kidding.
Well,
Well,
let's go back
talk
to
it through.
history.
I mean,
Let's go back to history. The best history we have is what? Somebody on Saturday mornings and nobody on Sunday. Is that the best history we have, if I understand correctly?
No, that's not correct.
No.
No?
On Sunday, it was just that the turnout was low.
Right.
It
Okay,
didn't have anything to do with poll workers. It was just that the turnout was low.
and the turnout on the Saturday,
The last Saturday,
not the last Saturday before election, the early voting, 2 Saturdays.
I don't remember.
It
that
wasn't
It
very
was
good at
low.
all.
It was low.
They both were low.
So if we give them an equal chance, that's their reason.
But the turnout for the last Saturday before the election was quite heavy.
Yeah, I have no problem with that one. You can have that all, the November first, let's see, third, second, first? Probably the first.
About that.
It would be October 31st Saturday would be 7 or 8 hours is fine. We know that's gonna be a heavy turnout the day before election, so to speak. But the others aren't. And what I want to do is spread it out so we can give our poll workers some relief. I don't think the voters are gonna change that much. I don't think the fact that we're open 8 hours versus 5 hours is gonna make a big change in the audience voting. The voters coming out. That's the only reason. And if we do it on Sunday and we give them 5 hours, instead of starting at 12, I would probably like to see it sometime around 11 to 4. So people who do things as a family on a Sunday afternoon would have time to early vote before they did their stuff, rather than 1 to 4. That is my objection. We're giving people, we're shutting down that Sunday on them. If you're gonna be busy on Saturday, doing your grocery shopping, doing everything else, and you're gonna vote on Sunday, and you got together with the family in the afternoon, give them a chance to do it in the morning. Give them from 11 to 4, or 10:30 to 3:30, something like that. Give them a little bit in the morning so they can do something. That's the only reason I would like to see 5 to 5. I think we would get a better audience participation.
I think it might be instructive for going forward too, just because if we do promote Sunday and we have bigger turnout, that's a learning for years hence.
I'm just not in favor in any way cutting back the hours on the day we have the heaviest turnout, which is the Saturday before the election.
Not, before election, we're not touching that one.
We're not-
We're
that
touching
has
the
nothing
2
to do
weeks
with it.
early. The 2 early weeks is what we're voting on. The Saturday before election, October 31st, is going to be a 10-hour day no matter what, because it's mandated so. We're talking about the 2 weeks in October. What we're talking about is Saturday, October 24th, and Saturday, October 17th. October 17th and October 24th.
There are 2 weekends prior to the last weekend, and that's, the last weekend is mandated 8 to 3. The first 2 weekends in that voting period are the ones that were mandated to have a minimum of 10 extra hours.
That's the 2 weekends where I want to give the folks a chance on Sunday to get out and vote. So the third Saturday, 10 hours is fine. The 2 Saturdays before that, 5 hours, and the Sunday is 5 hours. We could make it 10 hours on Saturday, no hours on Sunday too. We could do anything we want with the 10 hours. You want, if you prefer, if you think Saturday is going to be such a heavy, heavy day, 3 weeks before election, and you are set on that, then make Saturday 10 hours and Sunday none.
That
The
would give
only
us,
problem that I see with that is then you're looking at 2 shifts for that Saturday.
that would be a Sunday off for the staff and the poll workers.
Yes. It would give them a break and
Did
then
it all on
17.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Then you could give them a break
yeah.
because they're already going to be worn down and weary in the middle of a possible still pandemic,
Well-
and they need a day to rest.
Well, we usually just have one staff member here on the weekend.
No,
I thought you and Jackie switched those off.
we're too busy for it to switch off. With a two-person, 2.5-person staff, no, we don't switch off.
Well, James, we're back to the time. So if you feel Saturday is so strong, make all 10 hours on the Saturday.
I prefer that over 5 and 5.
Huh? Okay, I make the third motion, new motion. I make a motion that the 2 early Saturday voters, what did I say? The 17th and 24th, we run 10 hours. And we give everybody off Sunday on those 2 days.
Second.
Okay? Now we have a first and a second. Now we have a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
You two girls. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't say girls, right? It's-
No, you can't.
Do you, board members? Come on. I'm getting older, let's go. Make a decision, throw a
Okay.
coin.
All right, I'll go with the,
I'll go with it, but I think it's a mistake. I think we're gonna have to schedule double the amount of poll workers that day,
Instead of Sunday, they work Saturday.
maybe. Whatever.
I'm moving a person a Saturday and a Sunday. I'm taking the Sunday guy and moving it over here to the Saturday guy, and I got a Saturday guy and a Saturday guy. Guys are not gender, it's just terms.
Okay,
well, the motion carried, right?
yes.
Yes,
We need more help. in
Oh,
the
we know that.
office.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
all right.
Okay, so you got it?
Got it.
We have unanimous decision.
The state will be glad.
So would you.
I am. Thank you.
Okay.
Of course, 4 out of 5 are, but okay.
Let me back up. I don't see it on the minutes, on the agenda, Sandy, but we don't have the minutes from the last meeting.
No.
We need to talk about how are you gonna be able to do it?
I'll do them.
Okay, great.
I'll do them.
Thank
I'll
you.
have them for you.
Thank you. Yes.
We didn't discuss the hours for that Saturday,
Which,
so,
the 10
for
hours?
those 2
Saturday?
Saturdays.
Yeah, we do need to get the specific hours.
You know, instead of just the amount of time.
7:30 to 5:30.
Well, if you're gonna
That's
do
what I'm
10
saying.
hours, it's
8.
gotta be 8 to 6.
8,
7:30
9,
to
10,
5:30.
11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Either one of those would be a good option.
8 to 10, 8 to 6.
That's good on Saturday, yeah.
Whatever.
Or
Okay.
7:30. I mean, I'm just.
8 to
throwing
6
it
is
out.
acceptable, thank you.
As a friendly amendment to your motion.
7:43 to 9:60. 8 sleep.
All right. There was. Michelle, did you get a chance to check with Peak?
I have a few calls into them, but have not received a call back. I'm almost wondering if they think I'm one of those, just callers trying to speak, but I have I have calls into them.
Okay. Okay, is
And the
there,
state board has notified us that the MAT team information is still in litigation, so they haven't given us any direction in
the
that.
MAT team stuff is in litigation?
What's the
So
issue?
we still, they're just trying to get all of the requirements lined up for us, so they haven't given us any information yet as to how to handle MAT teams. So that will be forwarded when it's given to us.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff I'd love to go ahead and be able to get done from a communication standpoint, but we can't with so much stuff up in the air.
And we can't put out anything that's incorrect
Right,
when we've been told there's nothing to put out.
right.
Right.
Okay. Any old business?
I don't know whether to raise it in old business or new business, but poll workers. I don't remember seeing any poll workers come before us for months. And I've been told of 4 people, although these are recent, who applied. Do we have a bunch of them that are just sitting, waiting to come before us? Or
We do have a stack. We get new ones in, and from what's been done recently to update the website, we've gotten more in.
Yeah.
So we're researching those, and we have a stack of those to present.
I would suggest we do it per meeting as opposed to waiting, for a
Right.
month or two and then have a stack of a bunch.
Well, one of
for
the
two-
things-
For two reasons. One, I'd like us to notify the people as soon as possible whether they have been accepted or not. And 2, we want to get them plugged in to training. So I'd like to see applications for poll workers come before us regularly at our meetings over the next few months.
Well, if they apply online, and about 95% of them now are online, they're immediately sent to all of us, and I've got to get you on that list.
Yeah.
So that we can look at them then, and if we think someone might be a precinct captain for a party or something like that, we can let them know and they can go back and check and stuff. But and as far as contacting each one of them, the way they come in, there's so much to be done right now.
I think you're missing my point. The only way a poll worker can become a poll worker is if this board approves it.
That's right.
So I am saying that I'd like to see the applications for poll workers come before us regularly at our meetings so that we can approve them or not approve them. That gives 2 benefits. One, it lets the individual know that they have been accepted as a poll worker. They can make their plan, start making their plans accordingly. And 2, we can get them plugged into training. I see no benefit for waiting for some period and then approving everybody at one time.
Well, we've never done that. We've always done it as we went, but we haven't had,
That's not true.
it is
There
true,
won't be a problem with presenting them at the next meeting.
Okay, great.
It's not
but,
necessary.
but that's not going to tell them whether or not they've been approved, because we have to do that in closed session. It's a personnel thing.
Well,
And,
do it in closed session.
And then if they're when they're called to see if they can work and everything, then they're certainly aware of everything.
You're belaboring a point that I see no reason to carry forward. Michelle has indicated they'll be brought forward, and I've stated the reasons why I think it's on a regular basis to have poll workers brought forward.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else for this?
Where do we stand right now in poll workers? How many?
Kelly and I went through and counted yesterday, and I think I figured we need about 60 more because of the ones that we've lost, adding these days on the weekends. And then the state has said that we have to add 4 poll workers to each precinct because of these extra steps that we have to take. Some of those would be silly for us. I mean, you don't need that you don't need 4 more people in Chickamaucomico or Stumpy Point or East Lake. And so we're going by how many are registered to vote there and how heavy the traffic is. Even though we already have assistants at those sites, they can't pick up that slack, because when we figured it all out, it was to make sure we had enough people that everybody gets regular breaks. So if you start putting 3 more, telling the assistants instead of, helping spell people, you're going to have to be doing these things, then we lose that advantage. So it looks like about 60. We've had probably 15, 20 come in since our push a couple of weeks ago. Doesn't that sound right? Yeah,
Maybe a few.
but it had been months since we had had any. And so that's coming up pretty good.
Have any of the applications been student applications yet?
I
No.
don't think so. no.
Okay, because that brochure is just about ready, and then we're going to fix it online too, so we have it on the website.
Yeah.
I think that's a real opportunity.
That will be good.
Have we had conversations with the schools?
I have.
Pardon?
Have we had conversations with the schools about student work?
I think there's been conversations with individual teachers. I had contacted, I can't remember his name, the name that Dorothy gave me. I'd called him several times, and he's over some of these teachers, but he never called me back. So we just kind of ducked in and went to the teachers and talking to them.
So what's our plan? Judy, I take it from what you said that the brochure and the website is one. Can't we do some outreach to the schools?
Well, we
Well,
can
we
take
are.
brochures to the schools,
Right.
certainly.
Yeah, and we're talking,
The civics teachers,
yeah,
is that who
and
you've talked with?
right, and talking about trying to find a civics module. And now that, see, everything else is so screwed up because nobody knew how they were going to teach this year. Now that they're teaching online, we might be able to find a civics module that they can put in there, and to kind of bolster the involvement of the kids, and that they have a right to work the polls. Most of them have a right to vote, the older ones. And we will be pushing that really hard. The state suggested that we use those student assistants for mask checking lines, making sure people are social distancing outside, and cleaning the voting booths. And cleaning the voting booths, I think, is fine. I don't know that I want to put a young person in a position where they could be challenged over social distancing or mask. I think that needs to be some of our older assistants.
Well, getting back to who is the director going to visit the schools and talk to how is it going to be done? I mean, I like, let's talk about a plan as opposed to we'll do it. And so how are we going to implement it? Is the director going to visit the schools and talk to the principal and or the civic?
When we
teachers?
get things nailed down a little bit more, then we'll come up with a plan and to see what the state's going to allow us to do. But and you're right, there has to be a plan. But before we can put something down on paper, we need to know what's going to happen. And,
Is there gonna be school?
pardon?
I mean,
They're gonna-
planning to go to teachers doesn't count if there's no students to give it out to.
Well, that's why we need to get it online,
Yeah.
just like we did the regular poll thing.
And the teachers can recommend the students.
Right.
Not every student would be willing and wanting to do it, but there are some that are more directed in the direction their career goes. We've had several that came through in the past years that they thought it would be a good step for their resume, to put on their resume that they helped in an election. So the teachers can recommend students that, whether they're in the classroom with them or whether they're virtual learning, they can still recommend students that would do well in this position.
Plus the fact they can make $200+ for that one day.
That's
That
right.
couldn't hurt.
Plus training.
So, anything else?
So we're gonna give it to the people who are gonna give it to the kids. That's what we're after, yes.
Well, that'll be one way, but we'll also hawk it out just the way we have the regular poll workers. We'll get maybe some posters up in the surf shops and stuff like that where young people go.
And I understand we're having the major political parties ask their members to ask their students and their kids to
Sure.
do the same thing, so.
Just about everything we do, I make it a point to share it with both parties and send them the materials and stuff because they've all got good outreach capabilities. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay, we need to go into closed session to talk about personnel? Do I hear a motion?
I so move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, Dare County Board of Elections now returns to open session. There were no actions taken during the closed session. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Yay.